What's going on, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week. Starting over in Marvel with Spiderman Wolverine issue number 1. Kari Andrews on the art for this one is like the reason to buy this book. The story is very, very familiar, especially with some MCU, movies that have been coming out. Like, the plot is very much a copy of one of those movies. You'll instantly know what it is as soon as you start reading this book, especially when you get to the cliffhanger at the end. But the journey is still really fun. Spider-Man's voice is there. Wolverine's voice is there as well. They're mashed together on some kind of a mission that they have to cooperate on. And, they go across and they take on some fodder, right, along the way. So I would say artistically, the book is everything you would expect from Kari Andrews. The writing style, I would say, is a little bit lazy. It's stealing from a lot of different movies, to be honest with you. So it's still a fun ride. It's still something I would recommend reading, but it's not something that should be on the top of your list, but it is really enjoyable from that artistic perspective for sure. Like I said, story's a complete ripoff, but the visuals are insane. Spider-Man Wolverine issue number 1. Let me know if you read it. Let's continue the Spider-Man train here with ASM issue number 4. Of course, we have Kelly on this one. We have Pepe Larraz on the art. So I will say that the art in this story, as I was flipping through the pages and things like that, there were more moments that caught my eye. So I think artistically it's catching up, or I'm just getting used to what we're getting right now from Larraz on this run, which is totally fine. I really like the art approach on here. I just think I've seen better things in the past. Story-wise, we're still dealing with this poisoning element right now. We have the Hobgoblin showing back up. We're trying to balance all of these things. Of course, Peter has a job that he's been late to every single day. There's a lot of commentary about that, but it's really about which villain can take advantage of Spider-Man hallucinating and going through this trip, right, while they're fighting him. So, it's been 4 issues of that. We're going to be wrapping up that story arc, I would imagine, pretty soon. So we get to see exactly what we have in store with us in the next arc coming up. With all the negative things I've said about Spider-Man recently, this is not that bad of an arc, to be honest. Like, I'm glad I'm reading it. It's just not blowing me away, to be honest with you. So there is that, at least. ASM issue number 4, not too bad. It's a hallucinogenic, take advantage of the superhero while he's tripping kind of a story, and we're going to unpack a little bit more of that while introducing some new and some old villains at the same time. That's what you get inside of this one. Great interior artwork. I think it's getting better, like I said. ASM number 4, let me know your thoughts. Continuing Marvel, we have the Ultimates issue number 12, Dennis Camp on this one, of course. So this one takes a step back a little bit. It lets our heroes reorganize and try to throw everything on the table, right? Some people have secrets. Some people have been doing things that they've been keeping to themselves, obviously, Doom in particular. And so there's a big moment in here where Doom is kind of like laying it all out, his rationale, what he's done, some really interesting revelations inside of here. He's tampering with time a little bit, and we get to see a very pivotal moment earlier in this series that he's been messing around with, and we get to see the alternative outcomes of that situation. We were teased it a little bit inside of Iron Lad's dreams and whatnot, and we get to see exactly what that all meant inside of here. So this is really the heroes getting back together, throwing everything on the table, hiding nothing anymore, and trying to come up with more plans to take on this threat, because they are not prepared for whatever the Maker is going to be throwing at them. They're barely prepared for what they got going on right now, and they know the Maker is going to be bringing the heat here in like 10 months or whatever the timeline is at this point. Captain America that does Captain America things inside of here. And we're going back to the drawing board, figuratively and metaphorically inside of Ultimates. We have issue number 12. Let me know if you read it. That's actually it for Marvel. Let's go over to DC. We have New Gods issue number 6. Got that awesome variant cover right there. Felipe Andrade is doing the guest work in here, and he's doing about 80% of the pages. So if you like his artistic style, man, we get that layered on top of this New Gods craziness. It's really trippy. There's lots of like void-like things going on. We have the Black Racer. We have Light Ray. Their interaction, basically in a purgatory type state, and there's this evilness that's floating around in there. Again, it's very metaphorical, and there's lots of cool things happening visually and from a storytelling perspective. And so it's a thing that you kind of have to take your time with and work through. And even then there's some ambiguity, maybe some themes or some vibes that it's going to give you. And I think that's enough to tell the story they're trying to tell right there. Evan Cagle does come back on the back part of the book right here. I don't want to show you anything because there's only a few pages and it kind of gives away a lot of spoiler type stuff. So I'm not going to show you exactly what those pages show, but I will say we're kind of like consolidating these runs at the moment. You know, we have Justice League Unlimited. We know that our superheroes are dealing with all of that stuff right now with the new Doom Patrol or whatever. We have the All-In tie-in. When we have New Gods, eventually they're going to be coming together. We got that hint in issue number 5. We get a little more of that inside of issue number 6. So I'm really excited to see where this goes from here. Felipe Andrade's introduction art in here was well received, and I am super excited to see where we go from here after reading the last couple of pages as well. New Gods, fantastic series. Make sure you read this one. Let me know if you are. Let's stick with the Absolute universe. We have Absolute Flash issue number 3. Of course, we have Jeff Lemire on the writing duties on this one. And I would say that, like, this is still in that 4th place spot, really. And I don't know what this book needs to do to kind of, like, take over Batman, really, because Batman's in my 3rd spot. It is interesting, but it seems very repetitive right now, man. All we do is we basically have Wally West running around trying to understand exactly what's going on. He's getting all these flashbacks, but it all has to do with like the Speed Force, how it interacts with time, and he doesn't really know what to do. A lot of these people are after him, like this version of the Rogues is after him. There are some friends that he can rely on, but he doesn't quite do that just yet. Grodd is a really cool character inside this book as well, and I like the interpretation of the Rogues in general inside the story. But, you know, we're 3 issues in at this point. I kind of wanted more story progression. I wanted him to get a little bit more grounded in his powers. Maybe he's doing that, maybe he's not, but there also is moments in here where it's kind of flashing forward, like, I need to take control of this, and I need to figure out what kind of a person I'm going to be. That's great. We got that hint, and I think in issue number 1 or 2 or something like that, but we're still running away. We're still confused. We're still being chased down, and we're not like grounded in any way. So, you know, I was kind of disappointed from that perspective. Visually, it's really cool. I like the chaosness of it. I like the lettering, how it overlaps a lot of the words and whatnot, showing that his brain is just racing, you know what I mean? And like thoughts are overlapping other thoughts. That's a cool visual to display there, to showcase that. But, you know, overall, I really wanted more from this book. We're 3 issues in right now. I was hoping for that like click to happen on issue number 3. It just didn't yet. I'm not going to give up on it, but I just wish it was better. Let me know if you guys are reading it. All right, speaking of a book I wish was just a little bit better, we have Satana issue number 4. Of course, we have Campbell doing most of the work on this book right here. And so, you know, props to Campbell for doing all of that. Visually, the book is outstanding, I think. So many cool things happening inside of here. The coloring, the lines. It's almost too much, to be honest. There are some moments in the book where you're looking around like there is just so much freaking action going on. The compositions are very creative, overlapping things. So you can get not lost, but like it's a lot to take in. I will say from a story perspective, you know, it's all about friends. It's all about family. It's all about taking on the demons, right? Obviously. Rescuing friends from threats that you may have caused or may have attributed to, things like that. So, you know, we do get the upper hand here and there, but the villains have some surprises. It's that kind of a book right there. And at the end of the day, what can we do to trick our way out, right? What kind of magic can we deploy to get us out of this situation? Again, it's about friends, it's about family and things like that. It's about reorienting yourself to what is important to you. And again, it's about that crazy artwork inside of here as well. So, you know, Satana, visually speaking, is spectacular, I think. From a story perspective, it gets a little convoluted. I wish it was singling out one villain at a time and really focusing on that. We have 2 or 3 or 4 inside the book, so it's a little bit all over the place. But I'm still having a good time with it. It has a good showmanship to it. I really like some of the scenes in here featuring her just being overly confident in this like demonic hellscape and taking on the odds right there. But maybe a little bit more in this, right? Maybe a little bit more of a story, a little bit more focus would really help this book. Let me know if you guys are reading Satana. Issue number 4 is out this week. Let me know if you checked it out. All right, let's go over to Image Comics. We have Redcoat issue number 12. We have the Northerner showing up in here in the last issue. We have more of that conversation going on inside of here. Not really giving away all of the secrets, but he is telling us basically, I'm from another time. We've met before. This is the first time you've met me, but we've been pals for a while, or it's been a complicated relationship. I'm getting a vibe of like a Deadpool Wolverine kind of a relationship in here. One's going to be the snarky idiot. One's going to be the all serious, get the job done kind of a guy. And that's pretty much what you see inside of here. I think we're starting to see some more crossover between Redcoat and some of the other Ghost Machine books, specifically the Rockefellers, because there's some time travel stuff going on in there. And in one of those issues, they went back into the past and there's like this TVA, essentially, type of an organization that the Rockefeller family works for. And there's a little bit of that going on inside of this book. So I'm wondering if that's going to be connected with all of this. It seems like it would be. It makes sense to me. Visually speaking, though, Brian Hitch, Andrew Curry, Brett Anderson doing an insane job on the interior artwork, like drawing all these period pieces, all these insane landscapes and all the different decor and the fashion and everything else. I think they're doing a great job. And Jeff Johns doing an incredible job just balancing all these books in general. This is a really cool book, again, with Redcoat and the Northerner getting together and just trying to understand each other's perspective for the first time. So Redcoat, really good book. Let me know if you read it. All right, let's wrap things up with Bug Wars. They have issue number 4, Jason Aaron on this one. So what I really enjoy about this book so far is the world building. There are so many factions, so many different kinds of insects and bugs and rodents and things like that that we've either seen or we've been hinted towards throughout this run so far. And we got that map in the first issue showcasing the house and where everything is situated. I think that's really cool. We have this magical power set that is known across the land, across the yard, that this boy now has. He's imbued with it. He's still trying to learn how to activate that power. Sometimes it's passive. Sometimes there's just raw emotion will activate it, and he gets him out of some sticky situations, of course, but we're still trying to figure that out. But everybody around him, all the insects, everything knows this power, knows about his dad, and they want to use that power to reign supreme across the yard. So he doesn't quite know who to trust. Even some of the people in the very beginning, the ones that he met inside like the battle dome and whatnot, they seem to be, using him to get out of that situation, but now they want to use him to take over the yard. They want to take over that power. They want to right some of the wrongs of their past, and we get to focus on that character inside of this issue. Like, if I can bring this power back to the family that deserted me or exiled me, I can win my way back into the family and take my rightful place wherever that might be inside of that little society there. That's what we're dealing with now. But we have a crisis of conscience here and there inside the book as well. Artistically, I think it's spectacular. The different designs, the bugs, the landscapes, everything like that. It would be so difficult to do that, and props to the creative team for that. So I'll say that, Aaron and Asar, they're doing a great job inside this book. They're building out a really special thing. It's got impossible scope to deal with, so many different creative elements to tackle and everything. There's a magic element to it as well. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with like this wizard, Lord of the Rings kind of a vibe to it. So a lot of cool things happening inside this book. Not a whole lot of people are talking about it. I hope it has legs. I think they said it can go 50 to 100 issues if they wanted to. Volume 1 seems to be wrapping up here very soon. I've been enjoying the hell out of this book. Let me know if you have down below. All right, guys, that's all I read this week. Kind of a short week for me. Let me know what you read and what your favorite books of the week were down below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. As always, we'll see you in the comments.